Tune in this week, episode 65. We talk about getting your business up to speed with AI.
You're listening to Between Two Bridges, a business-to-business podcast. With your hosts, Anthony R. Destiny, Joe Ferrani, and Jerry Kenna. Interviewing entrepreneurs, business operators, and investors. This episode of Between Two Bridges is brought to you by Duro Cleaners, luxury laundry care, conveniently delivered to your door. Visit durocleaners.com, because life's better without laundry.
Welcome, episode 65 here, Between Two Bridges. We have more room to... We have
spread out.
Yeah, we're
room
spread
for
out
activities.
today. We're going to yell at you. We're just going to yell at you about shit.
I'm going to sit on this couch.
We're going to do what we said we're going to do. We're going to round up all the illegal immigrants in this country.
Man, that's happening.
Yeah, that's going down. I heard.
Do you think is it actually happening as much as everybody? Because I see on Facebook, everybody's like, ICE is in Wexford. Like, really? Is Wexford like a big spot for ICE?
I didn't know ICE just drove around like marked cars. Like, I didn't know they had like a billboard out.
They got
like,
their
we're coming.
windbreakers on, bro.
Yeah. Fucking.
Yeah. Somebody posted that they were by the Mexican restaurant. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, I thought about like going to the store and getting a jacket made up that just said ICE.
Oh, would that
and
be
like
fun?
snagging a couple up to take the work for me. But your punishment is now pressing shirts. So get the fuck to work.
We thought we're getting deported. No, you're going to the dry cleaners.
Yeah, you can stay here as long as you want.
Yeah, it's an interesting time.
I didn't, I think that, I've said this before, but I think that Pittsburgh, we're just sheltered here. Like, I never saw a bunch of illegal immigrants to know that there's a problem. You know what I mean? Like, maybe if we were in Philly or LA or...
It didn't stop our mayor, Ed Gainey, from making a public statement about how he's not going to cooperate with ICE.
He's just not going to take it. Come to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, thanks. That's worked so well for all these other mayors around the country.
We do have a lot of bridges.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, I have not noticed here locally there being an immigration problem. No, other than the violinist back in the day at the Mills. But I kind of enjoyed his music. He would sit there peddling for money and playing the violin.
Was he illegal?
He was illegally playing songs, dude.
Yeah.
It wasn't him. He had a big old speaker.
Dude, I appreciate that. When you walk by and you see somebody out there like playing music or like doing something.
Yeah.
It's trying. That guy. Yeah, he's trying. He's out there hustling, man.
Yeah, you don't have like a 17-year-old kid with like a face pierced and tattoos all over him with a sign that says, I served in NAM, help me out. Yeah. It's like, bro, the fact checked you.
Did you ever hear the story about, I'm going to fuck this up. What's his name?
Fuck it, do it live.
Do it live. What's a country singer?
Toby Keith.
No, Keith Urban. So Keith Urban on a couple
has an Australian accent like a motherfucker.
Does he?
Oh yeah.
On a couple different occasions, he has dressed up like a homeless person and gone down on Broadway in Nashville and played the guitar.
People just boom?
No, people throw like crazy money into his guitar case, and then at the end of the night, they don't know it's him. At the end of the night, he reveals who he is and then takes all the money and donates it to St. Jude.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
How about that shit with the baseball card? The 11-year-old, he found that Paul Skeens card that they were offering up all that money for and tickets and whatnot.
I didn't hear about this.
So like an 11-year-old kid in California pulled the card and declined the Pirates offer, obviously.
What was their offer?
They were giving you 30 years of season tickets and like a meet and greet with like Paul Skeens. You did get to meet Livy Dunn and just a bunch of shit, but the kid declined it, obviously being 11 and from LA or wherever he was from.
What's he want, Steelers or Pirates season tickets for?
Yeah. And so then turns out, I guess the next story came out that the kid is donating the card to charity. So now it started this whole uproar of card collectors. They're saying that the card was never in circulation. The story's bullshit. And the Tops or whoever was the printer of the
just
card.
manufactured this whole story.
Like, yeah. And like used it for publicity.
Wow.
So
do you think that's the case?
I don't know. I mean, what it was they took the, I guess the rookies last year when they would debut, they had a patch that said like MLB debut. They took that off, put it in a card, and then apparently he signed it. So, I mean, who knows in this world? I mean, there's fucking spaceships flying around, bro.
Yeah, well, we finally found out what the drones are.
Oh, what are they?
Sort of. They are authorized by the federal government. They're doing testing. Military and NASA is doing testing and research. And the Trump administration came out and said they are not the enemy.
Convenient.
But it was exacerbated because some of them were in fact NASA and the military doing testing and research. But then I guess other people were sending up their drones and made it seem like there were a lot more drones than there actually were.
Yeah, people were seeing shit too.
So I don't know. I don't know. Who knows if that's true or not? Maybe they're aliens.
Well, it's
kind of left the news though.
Yeah, I was listening to Rogan. He had two guys on from like the one guy was like an Air Force vet. He's been talking a lot about extraterrestrials or I don't even know what they call aliens.
Yeah, they've changed names now.
Yeah, we can't call them aliens. That's offensive, I guess.
Yeah.
But they were talking and they said, like
offensive to who?
The alien, dude.
We're so worried about offending an alien.
I know, man. We haven't even met this fucker yet.
Maybe they like being called aliens.
Maybe that's their shit. Like Dago. Like Italians don't mind being called Dago.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they were saying that like this dude said something that just like hit like my deep part of my brain thought. He said, we go all the way into like the fucking rainforest to discover and figure everything out about like a green toad.
Yeah.
He's like, what if these fuckers are like, we're their pet project?
Right.
We're just like bears running around with collars and like, they're like, these fuckers are crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Look at them. They're shooting fucking fireworks off 4th of July. They're like, we're their entertainment.
Yeah.
So that'd be fun. They picked a hell of a civilization to come see,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And everything we think we know about aliens, it's all fiction. Like nobody's like if you close your eyes and you think of an alien.
Yeah, you think of the Green Man.
Right. The little green man with the big black eyes. That was just somebody's imagination at some point. Right. But aliens could be anything. I mean, it could be a bacteria. It could be a fleck of dust.
That's what they say about like octopuses. Like octopuses are like intelligent and like, there's a lot of shit we don't know.
And there's a lot of this world that we still haven't even discovered. I mean, there's ocean life that we can't even get to.
Yeah.
Ask the guys with the submarine.
We're so naive though. We're like, fuck it. If we can't live there, no one can live there.
Right. Exactly. So we're supposed to be going to Mars. They made that big announcement.
They found water on Mars.
Did they?
Non-frozen water. Which like, what if that shit was like secretly just icy light? They're like, holy fuck, we found icy light on fucking Mars. Franny, what were you doing last Saturday? I don't know, dude. I was in Mars apparently.
So you're enjoying an icy light now that it's February?
Got through January.
Yeah.
We tied one on Saturday, so I didn't go through the whole month.
Didn't go. We had a couple drinks.
Yeah, one glass of wine leads to like, what's 15 or 20 minutes between friends,
Yeah. What an episode with Mr. Biondi.
Oh man, he's a classic
interesting guy.
Yeah, he's like your grandfather. He's like your friend. He's got all the attributes.
I don't always watch our episodes because sometimes I'm like, yeah, I was there, but I watched the entire episode with Mr. Biondi.
Did you Google that restaurant he talked about, Sonola?
No, but he said he's going to call us and we're going to get an invite.
Well, if he calls, we won't miss that call. I was looking at their website and it looks like the old country. Like, yeah, food looks dynamite.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I hope I get that call. I might call him and be like, hey, remember that invite? Don't forget.
Yeah, hey, we're going to remind you every week.
Yeah. You think he's watching?
Oh, yeah. I heard him on the radio on the way here. He was doing a car sales ad.
Was he?
Look, this dude's like the postage stamp.
Yeah,
he's everywhere.
Yeah, he's great.
So,
Yeah, I love it. I really enjoyed that episode. I think it was fun. It was cool to talk cars. It was cool to talk about that business. Everybody interacts with that business at one time or another.
That's what I said in the episode about how like you might buy 10 new cars in your life. Yeah. 20 new cars. But like with what they're doing, you can see that interaction all the time.
On social media.
Yeah, you can feel more comfortable going in. You're not gonna land a better car or a better deal because you know all that shit.
Yeah, you might.
It just won't feel like you're getting screwed.
You might. I mean, a lot of the stuff that Russ is putting up there is showing you how they kind of backdoor some things in there. I mean, he just had a video up I saw today or yesterday or something about, I guess some of these salesmen are using like a Foursquare method where they're giving you like the rate, the price, the payment, the term or whatever. I'm messing that up because, I don't know what it is, but it's not really giving you the full picture. And if you bring your own financing or if you can negotiate that rate, you can, you need the out the door price.
Right.
And there's certain things you don't, if you go in there and say, I need to be at $500 a month or $800 a month, then they're going to work backward into that number. And you may end up overpaying for that car either by paying too much in the rate, or they're going to come back with like this 10-year fucking
I didn't want to say anything when he was on the podcast, or Russ for that matter, but we talked earlier in the infant stages of this podcast about how GM was going to do that rideshare program where you'd pay like $700 a month and cars would just be like, to me, that's ideal. You know what I mean? Like they're maintained.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about shit.
They killed that program off. Yeah. It was called Maven. The idea was, and it was Mary Barra, who's the CEO of General Motors right now. Her plan, her dream would be that you wouldn't even need to own a car anymore.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Cars would just self-drive to you, and it would be like Ubering, and you would have like a membership where you would pay per ride, and you would just bring a car on your phone and you would go there. I could see the
in a major metropolitan city, I could see that.
Yeah.
Like Chicago, somewhere like
New
that.
New York, somewhere where parking's an issue or traffic's an issue. I could see that. I personally really enjoy driving, and I don't want to give that up.
I mean, I don't mind driving. Like the older I get, nighttime sucks.
Yeah.
And I thought it was because it was the older I got, but I think it's because at nighttime I've typically had, enough alcohol to make it difficult.
Just kidding. You don't drink and drive.
Not on Wednesdays.
No.
So.
No, but yeah. So I think there's definitely a move in that direction. I think, Uber's not going to be real thrilled about it.
No.
Although Uber was doing their self-driving vehicles and stuff, I guess Uber drivers are really the ones that are going to be.
Yeah, and like that whole like I love like getting Uber Eats. I love the whole concept of it, but like paying an extra $28 for food to me,
dude,
is very upsetting.
The thing that sucks is that like if you're at home and you want to eat, you want to order food, you're limited to the couple places that deliver to you unless you want to go out and pick it up. But Uber Eats does bring you like such a bigger area.
Yeah, but the time is like...
The time sucks. By the time that food gets to you, it's soggy and cold. And then you pay you go to Five Guys. Five Guys is as expensive as it is.
Yeah.
Dude, a family of four ordering on Uber Eats at Five Guys, you're going to drop $110.
Right. And Five Guys does not travel well at all.
No, it gets all soggy. The bread gets all mushy. Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, it's just, I use it way too much because of the convenience. But man, it's just so stupid expensive.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the day where I don't have to think anymore. Like AI just fucking takes over.
Dude, let me tell you something. I've been taking a deeper dive into AI.
Yeah, you got me all fired up last week. I've been kind of fucking with it too.
And just trying to, I joined a couple of Facebook groups about AI. I've been reading and trying to see what it can do because I think obviously, everybody will tell you this, AI is our future, right? It's going to revolutionize all of our businesses.
What if AI is the aliens, bro?
It might be.
Fuck.
But
you heard it here first.
I'm learning more about creating custom GPTs. So you get ChatGPT, you can, if you have the pro version or whatever where you pay, I think it's $12 a month or something. But you can create a custom GPT where you can teach it what you want it to do. So it's not just a universal chat GPT. You can tailor it to what you want it to do and have it answer specific questions and then, teach it more about that topic. And it's crazy, but you can then take that and like embed it in your website. And then all of a sudden you've got an AI assistant on your website that's trained to only do what you want it to do. And like the possibilities, the way it's growing, like as of right now, the possibilities are nearly endless, but it's really like, it's in such its infant stages and it's changing so fast.
Yeah.
It's mind boggling.
So like one of the things I've always tried to do, and it's hard to do as a small business owner, but I want to get more content out, right? Not like, I don't want to be viral, but I do notice that when I'm diligent and I post something a day, there's uptick in my business. There's people that are customers that I've heard from in a while.
Yep.
There's people that I know that I'm on the front of their brain. So like, especially with dry cleaning, right? Nobody ever is like, well, I got this thing coming up in 3 weeks. I'll get something dry cleaned. But if I post something and someone has a wedding, they seem to reach out to me.
Absolutely.
So I try to be more diligent. So like I sit there and think like first hour of like, what do I want to post for today, With ChatGPT, I could be like, all right, we're delivering in the McCandless area today. Can you make a post letting McCandless residents know that today is their delivery day? And like, it'll just pump out some bullshit. You really could read it or you don't have to. It doesn't matter. It's just a Facebook post. It's not a contract or anything. Put a stupid GIF image with it and post it and you're done. And like, I've probably done that a half a dozen times in the last 2 weeks. And that's all shit I wouldn't have done before, because I'm looking for the right thing to say. And like if someone gets mad about it, I'm like, hey, it's AI, fuck it.
I think I start posting and I get on a trend or, I get on a kick where I'm posting every day and trying to get content out. And then I start getting in my head like, wow, that's not really a good thing. And I don't know if people aren't going to want to hear that. And you start getting in your head, but that's like the worst thing that can happen.
Right.
You just have to fucking post.
I mean, Sean from Slice in New York, he goes on rambles, dude.
Yeah. So do you ever see the guy on TikTok? His name's Justin Danger Nunley. He's hilarious. First of all, you'd love him.
I got to get some TikTok. I don't have TikTok.
He's great. He's on Instagram and stuff too. But I started following him a long time ago because he's hilarious. And he always says some some funny thing. And then he'll be like, did you know that? And he'll have some like random fact. He's got a really funny channel. And he also sells like funny shirts. You know that hoodie I have that has a picture of like the little Debbie cake, but she's kind of like old and fat and it says Big Deborah. That's something he puts out. I bought that off of his channel. But anyway, he posted whenever TikTok was going away for, 24 hours or whatever it was. He posted that in his like goodbye video that he built this channel. He still has a day job. He's also in the reserves. He's in the military. And he still does his day job, but he has posted every day for 4.5 years.
Brian from Hemlock Homes, that's what it takes. It's every day. And not every one of, at this point, Justin has such a huge following that every one of his videos is getting, thousands and thousands of likes and hundreds of thousands of views, right? And because he's gotten so big. I'll pull him up and see just how big his channel is. But there's that dude. He's like, what? No way. For fuck's sake. I fucking love that dude.
Yeah, I know. He's hilarious. So Justin has, that's his.
Well, that's the thing, like with your job, like with your business and my business, it's like it's not very attractive, right? It's more of a necessity kind of thing.
Right. So he has 8.9 million followers on his TikTok channel. And his videos, like the lowest one was yesterday's 87,000 views. He's got one that's 4.9 million.
When you get to that point in that game, you could change someone's life in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you see something locally that affects like your community and like they start a GoFundMe page. he could take his platform.
And he has.
And
like
help
guys like that, he has.
Yeah.
He's put together stuff like that and raised money for people. And there's a handful of people that I watch on there that are like that. And it's funny. I don't know if I said this when we talked about TikTok going away. Maybe I did. Stop me if I did. But
stop.
Something I noticed whenever I was on TikTok right before it all went away, and I was really thinking about like, what does this mean for people? This TikTok getting banned. And I realized that like my algorithm and my like who I follow and who I pay attention to on that app, it's interesting because I don't follow any celebrities.
Right.
I don't follow anybody that's like famous. Now they're TikTok famous now, that guy's, but they're all just normal people.
Right.
That's one day, years ago or whatever, decided I'm going to post a video. And, there's a girl that I follow on there that started singing songs. She lived in a little shitty apartment and had a keyboard, but she can sing and she would like write funny songs. And I remember, Stacy's mom. Yeah. She wrote a version of Stacy's mom from
the other
Stacy's mom.
Yeah. I've seen her. Yeah.
And she blew up and she went from this little apartment to buying her own house, buying her mom a house. She's got top 10. She's got songs that are on the top 10. Like she blew up, but she was just some girl that posted a video.
We both follow a lot of comedians and they said like it changed the game because like you used to have to like put your time in and be at the club and take the call, like take the stage when they would tell you to. And like it was a rough life, but now it's given like an audience. You have an audience every day of your life if you want it,
Look at Matt Rife. Matt Rife blew up because of the social media stuff, because they were posting his crowd work.
And as a parent, it's kind of like hard for you to tell your tell your kids like don't post anything. Like we have younger kids, so we have a lot of control over it. But if you have a 15, 16-year-old kid that is probably pretty fucking funny, and wants to post some mashup video about how the next president's a jagoff, you're like, well, go for it, man.
Yeah. So that the thing that makes it real hard is that, there's certain things that get attention easier than others, right? And whenever you have a daughter, there's a real easy way to go viral.
Right.
And trying to control that's scary. Now, our daughters are young and they're not on TikTok, and
for that reason.
But like that terrifies me. And it's not just TikTok. It's all these, it's Instagram, it's Facebook and all this stuff because
he got people looking in your windows, dude.
Listen, dude, sex sells. Yeah. And some of these girls that post these videos and then these creeps are.
That's what I've always thought that, dude. I see like these girls that are just like Midwestern girls that are like, their content sucks.
Yeah.
And they have like 12,000 likes. Like me and Jerry are pouring our heart and soul into telling you how it is here. You get 3 likes. Like, am I gonna show some nipple, fuckers? Because I'm not afraid to show some nipple.
Yeah, it's that's scary trying to control that. But honestly, like, I don't know, them posting stuff and being active on these social media channels. As a parent, you're like, you got to get off these screens. It's just, it's terrible for you. It's like video games. When we were growing up, all our parents was like, you got to stop these goddamn video games. What are you going to do? Now there's e-gaming. Like there's legit professional gamers.
You got to give parents something to bitch about, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, now we always dealt with what the fuck, you're not going to walk around with a calculator in your pocket.
And now we have literally one on our wrist.
Right. You don't even need to hit the buttons anymore. You can just be like, Alexa, what's 92 times 78?
Yeah.
Like Reese can do her homework like that. And then like, you're thinking, where's AI going? Like, she doesn't even know who the fucking third president was of the United States.
So this is kind of stupid, but so my daughter was doing homework. She's in first grade. And the assignment, you had to take a dice, like a die, and you had to roll a dice and it would tell you like whether to write. She had to write like spelling words, but it was like write them in all caps or write them in this funny way or this funny way, but you had to roll a dice to determine how you're going to write it. And you had to write these words over and over again. Fucking relentless. It was like, this is going to take forever.
You're like, do you have a homework pass?
Yeah, but I couldn't find a dice. I'm like, why can't I find a freaking dice in my house? So I'm like, you know what? I got an idea.
There's got to be an app for that.
I pulled up ChatGPT and I said to ChatGPT, I'm like, hey, my daughter's doing homework and I need a dice. I need to roll a dice. Can you give me random numbers from 1 to 6 when I tell you to roll? And I did. Every time I'd be like, roll. And it'd be like, you got a 3. Roll. You got a 4. Roll. You got a 2. And I went through her homework using ChatGPT. Yeah, it was awesome. But it was like, there's so many things that you kind of have to reprogram your brain.
Right. And that's going to be such a core memory to her.
Did I use ChatGPT to do her homework?
That like when she's 25, she's like, dude, my dad was so old school.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, your dad was on the cutting fucking edge, bro.
Yeah, like, exactly. But you have to reprogram your brain. You know, you Google a lot, right? You know,
yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with, in my business, tax code, there's a lot of tax code and it changes all the time. And a lot of times you have to look shit up, right?
Read.
And you have to read, and you have to read articles. Now, I don't Google something and then look it up on like joestaxtips.com. You know what I mean? I'm looking for, man.
I know them all.
I know them all. I'm looking for like legitimate sources, the IRS, Investopedia, things like that, right? But I use Google. You know what I mean? There's numbers that I don't have I can't know everything, right? But I did something the other day and I Googled it and I'm looking and I'm like not finding any good articles and I wanted to kind of dig into it more. So I just was like, I opened up ChatGPT and I ended up having a conversation with ChatGPT about this topic.
You're like, whoa, and the fucking lady calling on the phone.
Dude, it gave me all this information and it was like digging into key parts of it. And I could be like, okay, well, what if this, like, let's elaborate on that section. What if this happened? Can we argue this? And it was like, we were having a dialogue. I was having a dialogue with a goddamn robot.
Right.
And it was using IRS tax code as its source. Well, it's crazy.
The one that blew my mind is whenever you were that Notebook LM.
Yeah.
Where you took the PDF and then it turned, I mean, like, as we sit here, we're obsolete. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Yeah. So to people that don't know, so this website, it's a Google platform. It's an AI platform. You can take a PDF of anything you want and it will turn it into not just audio reading it, but like it will analyze it and create a dialogue. So I took, a friend of mine told me about this and he's like, dude, find the driest, most boring, awful IRS document
friend of yours,
you can find.
A friend of the show.
It was Huey. Everybody knows Huey. So it's Hugh Rumbaugh. He's like, find the worst PDF, something that's just awful. Upload it and see what it does. He's like, prepare to have your mind blown. So I'm like, all right. So I found Circular 230. Circular 230 is the IRS document that lays out the rules and regulations and penalties for accountants, CPAs, enrolled agents, and attorneys representing taxpayers before the IRS. And what we're allowed to do, what we're not allowed to do, and penalties for breaking the rules. And it's 45 pages. It is dry. So I'm like, this is perfect. So I uploaded it. It took about 20 minutes to process. And it gave me like a 13-minute audio clip that was like a radio show or a podcast.
You played it for me. It was fucking insane.
It was a man and a woman having a conversation about tax code and like, this is how this works. And then she's like, oh, that's really interesting. Well, what happens if blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, well then if this happens, then you just do this. And then they can do that. And it was like it was like I was listening to a goddamn podcast talking about Circular 230.
It's going to be a new way to learn.
Yeah.
It's going to develop the next wave of like geniuses.
Yeah.
That come out will not learn from the teacher, the chalkboard, or the teacher emailing. It's going to be like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm such a genius, you know.
Right.
I've always been far advanced for my age.
so far that you think Farley is a word.
Chris Farley. I'm like Chris Farley. Yeah. So, anywho, like when I was in school, the problem is it took 9 weeks to get from the soup to the soup to the nuts.
Right.
And all that bullshit in between just lost me. But like if we could have just got to the end faster and then worked back, I would have been a better student. So like I usually let kids get there and then I cheated off them. It was like my move.
That was your move?
Yeah. But like everybody learns at a different pace.
Yeah. And
with that ability, you can learn at your own pace.
Yeah.
I don't need to read 300 fucking pages about like,
oh dude, anything. You could take an ebook in a PDF form and upload it and talk about Cliff Notes. You can have somebody talk to you about what happens in a book. There's so much possibility there. Where my head went, because we're so invested in online content, is that I could take a news article about some new tax code or some news development or something like that. I could take that, upload that, have some audio clip that I could then take some sort of B-roll and overlay it and then post it in multiple part sections on TikTok.
Crazy.
And now I've got instant content that I didn't have to talk. I didn't have to show my face. It was AI.
It's funny because like when I was like my first years at CCAC, like you had to know your shit. Like I will say that about our education. Like high school teachers are much better teachers in that setting than a college professor. Okay. College professor doesn't care if everybody gets it.
Yeah.
Like you're either...
They're covering the material, keep up or get out.
That's it, keep up or get out. So like my problem I always had was like, you get into this shit that like really didn't mean anything to me.
Yeah.
But Napster was a thing. Remember Napster?
Yeah.
So I would pull just beat tracks off of Napster and let them like play. And as I would read to like the beat that kind of like sped it up for me personally. And I'm thinking like, our kids won't have to do any of that. They'll just figure the fuck out. Because I was listening to somebody, and probably Joe Rogan, because our podcast plays, and then in my headphones it automatically goes to the next Rogan, because like we're 1A, 1B. But he was saying like you could say I want to learn everything about like bourbon. Okay, I want to learn about the history of bourbon. I want to learn the first 100 years of bourbon, and I want you to tell it to me in Japanese. And like a Japanese speaking person will tell you about and it's like, who are we to tell our kids how to learn now? Like, because they can learn at their own pace.
Yep.
So, I mean,
and at their fingertips.
The next 10 years are going to make or break us.
Dude, AI it's changing so fast that I honestly think in 5 years, everything's going to be different.
I mean, think back to like we were kids. Hey, close the door. We're not heating the whole outside. See, they knew global warming was coming. So like now we just know computers are really coming. Like
it's coming. It's the pace that it's changing. I mean, ChatGPT came out and
government's investing billions of dollars in it.
Oh yeah. It was kind of cool. But now, Microsoft has Copilot. Google has their own version of it. Apple has their own Apple Intelligence.
Yeah, and we just see the beginning.
It's an arms race.
Right.
And it's an arms race of the biggest technology companies. We're talking technology companies that have revenue bigger than most countries' GDP.
Right, and they've already changed the game once.
Yeah.
Like Google changed the game.
Apple changed the game. Microsoft changed the game. And now they're all in an arms race to see who can be the number one AI player in the world.
I just hope that it's not like back in the day when Google was on fire and Google was and it still happens to this day. And then Yahoo sneaks in like a sneaky little side piece and she fucking changes your search engine. Cause that's the worst. Like when Bing just shows up. So I hope it's not like that. I want to roll with my guy.
You can't compete with Google. Google has become a verb.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Are there any other search engines? The only way to get a better search engine is to flip the fucking table and not use a search engine and use AI.
Yeah, it'd be like, do you use Google Maps or do you use an atlas? Because that's the separation of the two.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Google's up for the first time in a long time. Google's up against it too.
Yeah.
Because this could be the one time that like if Microsoft or if you and I sit down and figure out a better AI than Google, they're obsolete. You know, they're AOL.
Yeah. My thing is that I would love to be able to figure out a way to use AI in my business, you know, and
it'll be there. It's just time.
It's just, I'm trying to research it to figure out, can I use it to make things more efficient? Can I use it to offer a service that I'm not currently offering? Can I, you know, how can I, because I'm a tech kind of person. I love tech.
That takes you back to your Circuit City days.
Yeah. And so I'm always like, I like to try to be cutting edge with this stuff. And I really think that it's the future. And if you could develop something with AI that will simplify things for businesses. Out here, bro. I'm not going to tell. I mean, I'm not going to tell them what I got working on. I'm working on something.
Yeah, but there's probably somebody out there that's there, and you're just going to pay a monthly subscription to interject it into your business.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm building it.
Building it from scratch.
Building it from scratch, bro.
I'm
working on something. I got something in
That's always been like our industry in dry cleaning. Like automation has been the thing that we've always chased. But like the deal is to make that automation, the number behind it, the investment. You know, you're going to pay $10 million for a robot to press pants. Well, at $10 a pair of pants, it never makes sense.
Right.
You just roll in some illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
Press the shit out of them pants.
Yeah. You're right. But AI, the weird thing about AI is
it speeds everything up.
And it does, but it's also the cost to use it is like nothing.
Right.
ChatGPT, there's a free version. The paid version is like $12 a month. And then that Notebook LM was free.
So a lot of what I do when we send the automated messages out, I mean, those messages get put into a route automatically. That's AI working in the background, like on a coding end. AI is eliminating coding because it's more hands-on. So like that message, when the problem, like for example, if we send a message out at 6 p.m. that says, do you have a pickup tomorrow? Respond yes or no. The yes and no is capitalized and in parentheses because those are the two words that software knows how to pick up.
Right.
You interject AI and they say, thanks, but we're on vacation this week. In our software now, we need to catch it and then reschedule it. With AI,
it's going to
respond to them saying, thank you for letting us know.
Enjoy your
vacation, which I do now. And that's an hour of my day every day. So like, it's just all, and you got to accept it. And I think that's what's different with our generation compared to our parents' generation.
Yeah.
They thought it was voodoo and smoke and mirrors whenever the internet was coming out.
Yeah.
We are trained to accept it. Like if you're going to tell me you're going to make my life an ounce easier for 10 minutes a day, we'll take it.
Hell yeah.
We will take it every time.
Yeah, for sure.
But we talked about it with Lou. We're not doing virtual podcasts. Like the what do they call that? Like Skype or anything like that.
Yeah.
We did one. It was sucked. I mean, she was great.
She was great. It was a great episode. I'd love to get her on. I wish that we could have had her live or we had a better, it's just, when you do them virtually, it's just different.
Yeah, and if it lags for a second, you lose momentum. Like conversations are all about momentum. Like, so that's Lou kept the momentum. Russ kept the momentum.
Yeah. Lou was, dude, I think that if we didn't wrap things up, Lou would still be sitting here talking with us.
Yeah, I think his daughter called and ruined it. It was like, hey, Mom's worried about you. I mean, she thinks you got kidney problems.
There were several times where Nate was behind the camera like, you got to wrap it up. Like, our batteries are dead. And there was no stopping Lou.
So we talked a lot about Lou because he was a good guest. We didn't touch base on our guest prior to Lou.
Who just had some big news.
Big news we heard breaking. He's running for mayor of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and I unfortunately don't live in Pittsburgh.
I know, which I've always thought was fucked.
Yeah, we should be able to, because they control all of
Allegheny County's money all goes to the city.
Yeah, we should be able to vote for the mayor, so unfortunately, I won't be able to cast a vote, but I will do what I have to do to help.
I don't know, dude.
I liked him.
I don't know. If he gives me like $6,000, I could buy a house in the city. I'll vote for him.
Yeah. I don't think that works that way.
Problem is my kids will get kicked out of the school district they're in.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to change that.
You don't want to be in the city schools.
No, not right now.
There's a lot of problems in the city of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and I think, I'd like to sit down. I'm looking forward to having him back because I'd like to sit down. Unfortunately, he wasn't ready to announce whenever he was here. He knew.
Well, he knew he would win the election if he would have announced it on our podcast.
Right. He didn't want
and that's a lot of pressure to put on us. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He knew he was running, but he didn't want to announce. He wasn't ready to announce. But I'd like to have him back.
Yeah, we'll get him back
before the election.
We'll bring him in for peppers and sausage when Lou's cooking.
Yeah,
we'll have a whole cooking episode. But I think the city is funny. It's a funny space because I do have clients in the city, and like we all associate that we're from Pittsburgh, right? We'd be totally different if we were from Pittsburgh. Like our lives would be.
Yeah, we're from the suburbs.
Yeah, we're from the burbs, but I think that they want to do they're like every other human, they want to do what's good by everybody. But when you have a major, like he was talking about it, we're this close to not even being a major metropolitan city. Like our population's decreased. Like it's a fucking shit show.
In our inner city, like our downtown areas, it's dead. Businesses are gone.
Yeah.
There's the only people that are down there, even the big companies that used to be in the skyscrapers, they're all gone. They're in Cranberry, Wexford. They're working from home. The buildings they're getting empty. The small
Penguins
retail
are for sale
stores
now again.
What?
The Penguins are for sale. Majority ownership. Fenway's liquidating a little bit.
Really?
Yeah. So I mean, I'm sure that has to do with all the shit in the Hill District that they got to deal with. Like, there's so much space that they're responsible for developing, right?
Yeah.
And they could say, we're going to build a fucking aquarium. And someone would say, that's bullshit. Or they could say, we're going to build a nudie bar. Definitely not get one of those in. It's just weird. Yeah. It's a weird time to be in the city.
I hope I like the stuff that he was talking about.
You can hear the passion in his voice. Like he loves the city.
Really wants to help business in the city. And honestly, that's
who you need.
It's who we need, and that's what's going to rebuild the city is small business.
I mean, I don't know how much we want to back him right now because we don't know his whole platform. Like, he might come out with some shit that we're like, all right, vote for Gainey because this motherfucker's nuts.
I don't know about that.
But no, I like the passion he had about bringing the business back because that's what brings everything back. If you can bring the business back.
Yeah.
And
he said that the first thing you have to do to be able to bring the business back is to get rid of the crime. You got to make it safe.
Right.
And if we have a mayor that's willing to invest in the police and try to get rid of the crime, make it safe to be down there, and then try to promote business in the city, that's the number one and number two steps to bring the city back.
Because, I mean, the north side, where you going out for a Steeler game, just speaking from experience, if I'm down there, I'm staying right there. Mm-hmm. Never once, even though I know there's some really good restaurants right across the bridge. 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, I'm not walking across that bridge to go entertain anything that's over there.
No.
I'm out of town. I'm leaving.
Gone. I'm getting in the car.
I'm hitting a couple bars.
28 as quickly as I can.
We hit Rocky Patel Burn.
Yeah.
And after that, usually when I have a scar, now I'm in the mood. I'm like, oh, I want a nice meal, But fuck it, we'll get out of there. We'll go eat in suburbs.
And that is the number one reason why so many restaurants are doing so well and so many businesses are doing so well in the suburbs, is because people don't want to go to the city.
Right.
So these restaurants in the suburbs are doing so well because people are like, I can go there. There's a parking lot. I don't have to pay to park. I don't have to worry about getting stabbed on the way back to my car.
I loved it when the lot opened in Oakmont. Yeah. Because it was you got this down, when you're in there, you don't know where you are.
No, it's a trendy downtown-like place.
Yeah.
And the food is up there with any of the steakhouses.
And your bill's going to match the same?
Yeah.
It's no cheaper.
No, it's not.
It's an experience you're paying for.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great space.
The atmosphere and the food is top notch. It's good. It's great.
And I used to have a 5-minute drive home. You were right on the other side. I lived right on the other side of town.
Yeah, and you don't have to walk to a parking garage. You don't have to deal with homeless people. You don't have to deal with possible crime. Obviously crime can happen anywhere, but
I kind of invite it most of the time. But
invite the crime?
Dude, I don't know, man. City's crazy nowadays.
Yeah.
Light Up Night 2 years ago, there's people just shooting guns off at each other.
Did you see that video of the the parade in Philly after they won the NFC Championship. Some dude, there's
Just
people
drove into
everywhere. No. Did you say drove?
There was an incident where a guy drove a car into the crowd.
Oh, no, I didn't see that. No, there's a video of all these people that are like, yeah. And some guy pulls a gun out in the middle of the crowd. He's like, pop, 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 pop. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Only in Philly, downtown Philly, there's like thousands of people everywhere. You're all shoulder to shoulder. And this dude's firing a gun into the air. Jesus Christ. So this episode will drop
a week before the Super Bowl.
So who you got?
I hope they cancel it.
And now a brief word from our sponsor.
Streamline your life with Duro Cleaner's complete pickup and delivery service. From your doorstep to their state-of-the-art cleaning facility and back, all without you lifting a finger. You get time back in your day and fresh, ready-to-go clothes. And just wait. Big things are coming soon to make your experience even better. Visit DuroCleaners.com because life's better without laundry.
I hope fucking ICE just comes in and like takes Mahomes out and is like, he secretly doesn't have documentation. No, I watched a lot. I watched a lot of both games. I pretty much sat and watched them beginning to end. And the Eagles game was a blowout, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that Chiefs game was kind of like had the potential of being a really great game, and then the refs fucked it up again.
Yeah,
like everybody's like, "Oh, he got her. The QB sneak was a first down." It's like shouldn't even had to get to that point. Like the Kincaid had a first down before that.
Yeah.
And the problem is like that's usually what happens when you have dynasties.
Yeah, Yeah, I don't know that there is like this vast conspiracy of we have to make sure that Taylor Swift is at the Super Bowl again.
Nah.
I think that, but it's just hard to watch week after week all these questionable calls that all seem to lean toward the Chiefs.
Right.
The refs are impacting games, and it just like seems like time and time again, these calls go toward Kansas City.
Right. And I think when you do all the things right, like they continue to win because they're good.
Right.
But like they're going to get all the breaks because the good teams do.
Yeah. And I think there is an aspect to it where the NFL is trying to protect the
brand.
Obviously the best quarterback in the league right now. I mean, Mahomes is.
I just always think it's funny that like when you look like across the United States, the one jersey that sells the most for years and years and years was Tom Brady. Like kids in Pittsburgh wore Tom Brady jerseys. I got thrown out of a Penguin game for booing a guy in a Tom Brady jersey. Like the day before they played the Giants in the Super Bowl, I booed him from puck drop till midway through the second period, every chance I could get. And then they came up and addressed it. And then I said, my buddy, he was like, talked them out of throwing me out. They were like, you can stay. And I was like, wait. I can't boo him anymore. I was like, I'm in Pittsburgh and I can't boo him. I was like, fuck it, I'm leaving. So I left. But I think when you get that, like, there's so much money involved in that sport, that like, it would be like you having this Einstein accountant that everybody got a huge return from. And like, they came here and you just were like, no, like you got to do this with, like you got to follow like someone else. Like they want the money to be there. So like, there's the money. Like we don't like it because we're Steeler fans.
Yeah.
But there's kids in Pine Richmond right now that all have Mahomes jerseys hanging in their house.
My son has one.
Yeah. So like, that's just like their stick to like make it seem like, I don't know, man. I know for a fact sports are fixed. Not like.
Isn't it funny how there's always such a great story of the winner though? Like I've thought that since was it Super Bowl 40 when Bettis was.
Yeah. Like Ray Lewis, Bettis.
And he won in Detroit. He was from Detroit.
Yeah.
He won. He retired there. It was like such a huge
Ray Lewis won a
story.
Super Bowl with the Ravens the year he retired.
Yeah.
It was like a trend there.
There's always such a great story.
Yeah, I mean, that Whitworth, he was a lineman for the Bengals for 100 years, gets traded to the Rams, and then beats the Bengals to win a Super Bowl. Like, what a story. But like,
so that's why I think the Eagles are going to win.
Kenny Pickett's big hands.
It is funny that Kenny Pickett's going to get his participation trophy after being traded away from the Steelers, and all these Yinzers were like, he's the worst. And now he's going to Philly, and he's going to end up with a trophy.
Yeah.
But no, he's not because of Kenny Pickett.
Barkley.
Saquon, yeah.
Yeah.
Saquon was so disrespected from the Giants.
Dude, on video. Like, that is
and
iconically the worst.
Tossed to the trash. He wasn't worth the money. He's too old. Not going to pay all this quarterback to hand a ball off to a $12 million running back. He was shit on by his team so bad. And he is, listen, I'm going to go on record saying, first of all, Saquon is unreal.
Right.
If he doesn't get league MVP, then the NFL should change it to quarterback of the year award.
Right. Now that's it.
It's always a freaking quarterback. Saquon Barkley should be the MVP this year.
Dude, I saw in an interview that he said before the NFC Championship game that like he wanted to go out and he wanted to run the ball down the Commanders' throats for running backs everywhere. Because like going into last year, Henry and Barkley were both free agents that didn't get paid. They didn't get big contracts.
Yep.
And because they thought, oh, the market's dead. Well,
dude, it is not dead.
It is not dead.
No. No, Saquon has flipped the table. He is unbelievable. And I think, so my buddy told me he thought that the Commanders were going to win the NFC Championship game. And I'm like, no fucking way. And he's like, dude, I'm telling you, they got a chance. I said, Saquon is going to drag his nuts across their face for 4 fucking quarters. After the first play of the first offensive drive.
Not only did he do it, they're so developed on their offensive line that the backup came up in the fourth quarter and had more yards on 1 carry and a touchdown than he did all season.
Right.
So like
they had 7 rushing touchdowns in one game.
Yeah, they had 7 rushing touchdowns in the NFC Championship game. Dallas had 6 all year. Like, so how do you feel if you're a Dallas fan? And I think the Steelers had 8. So,
yeah, I'm like, dude, Saquon is going to destroy them. In the first play from scrimmage, he fucking scored a touchdown.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
But he's the story, dude.
Yeah, and who would have thought, 7 years ago as Pittsburgh fans, we had a front row seat to the Brady era of football. And people were saying, this dude's the greatest. No one will ever come close again.
And
here we are, 7 AFC championships in a row the Chiefs have been to.
Yeah.
And the Patriots were at 8.
And so he's been and was this his 5th Super Bowl? In 7 seasons?
4.
He won.
He lost to the Patriots in the AFC championship.
He's been in 7. He's been in 5 though,
So
right?
5, yeah, because they lost to the
5th
Bengals.
He's been in.
Yeah, they lost to the Bengals and they lost to the Patriots in an AFC championship game.
Yeah. So of his 7 years, he's been in the AFC championship every year, right?
Yeah.
And he's been to 5. This will be his 5th Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Won 4 of them. No, if he wins this, he's won 3 of them.
4th. Yeah.
He's not going to win his 4th. Because Saquon's going to beat him.
See, like, that's the thing with the Steelers, like Bettis era, and even with like other teams that we had, was always the clock. Time of possession is the
100%.
biggest stat, because Mahomes can't beat you if he only has 4. That's when you start
to keep the offense off the field.
That's why that 4th down play changed that game. That's a possession.
What, the tush push?
Whenever they called Allen short, that game they had the lead. That's a whole possession that they don't get.
He instead of going first down, now it's first down going the other direction. They scored 7 points.
Right. It's potentially a 14-point swing in the game.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%.
Dude, I kind of like felt bad for Josh Allen.
I did too.
Like his whole brand is fucked. Like,
yeah, I did too. Now, there's also something to say, and I say this all the time when it's the Steelers, because, there's been times where Yinzers get all wound up over bad calls, and we get them too. But you have to know, yeah, you have to know that there's an element to that in the NFL, not just against Mahomes, but the refs are human.
Yeah.
So there is an element.
That's
to the
why
human
AI.
error.
That's why the compute. Like that's why it should.
And they're
just
not
be,
doing now they're talking about doing instant replay on some of the penalties next year, like roughing the passer, and they're going to start doing replays assist, so that might help. But my point is, you have to know that going in. You can't put yourself in a position where the ref can affect the game.
Right. And not because of fans. It's because it's a multi-billion-dollar industry of people betting on the games. So like these guys don't just pick a team because they like the jersey they're wearing.
Right.
They have all the analytics.
Yeah.
And then they put thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And then when a bad call sways a game.
Well, how about the last playoff game with the Chiefs? Whenever that last play,
Oh.
and they did the safety, the punter ran out of the back, and because of that, they didn't cover the spread.
Right. And like that's the shit that makes betting crazy. Like I can never bet huge amounts of money. Like I'll bet enough, like make it interesting. Like I like parlays because you can bet $5 and
I do too. That's what I do.
I'm like, give me like all the fucking parlays you can play.
I do that too. And it's stupid. Like I always kick myself after I do it because I'm like, yeah, all right, I'll add another leg. So I have a 6-leg parlay. I'll put $50 on this to win 1,300. Like, yeah, that sounds great. And then I get like 5 of them. And I'm like, God damn it, I shouldn't have got that 6th one.
We were talking about poker machines earlier, I think off air, maybe on air, but I see people that'll like do $20 spins at the casino. And I'm like, that motherfucker's nuts. But like, you know how much more psychologically like grateful I would be if I just did 5 $20 bets and got the fuck out? Like, it'd probably be better for my whole psyche.
Yeah, if you can stop though.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Because if you end up like, well, I'm not done yet. So now you put 5 more 20s in there. And now you're 200.
Because that's like the little bit of my, like, I catch myself when I'm gambling. Like I'll play the next one's due card.
Yeah.
And if you get into that zone, you need to get out of it real quick because you could be $5,000-$6,000 behind.
Easy.
And the next one's coming due.
Yeah.
And it never comes.
Right. It's never coming.
Lady
until
luck.
you get up, and then the next lady's going to sit there and put fucking $2 in to hit the jackpot.
Smoke 2 cigarettes and
yeah.
No, but it's fun. I mean, you never gamble anything more than you're willing to lose. Is the principle.
If you're not addicted to it.
Not yet.
Yeah, well, it's because we like money too much.
Well,
we work our fucking balls off for
I'm going to get that AI tool where it just reads the screen and tells me what machine to play,
Yeah.
Because that's going to be the other side of it. Like, the more we interject AI into our businesses and our lives, there's going to have to be something to regulate it. And I think that's what the investment from the United States government was.
Yeah, we're having that issue now with and we've had it for a little bit with kids in school that are having AI write book reports on books.
Right.
And write, research and shit like that, and using AI to do complete essays and stuff like that. So now they have to invest in all these tools to try to see if it's AI. And at the very beginning, and I say very beginning, I'm talking like a year ago, AI, ChatGPT in particular, there were times where it was citing articles that were bullshit. They weren't they were dead links. They weren't even real. So you had to be careful. Like, you can't do that. Like, some of that stuff's not real. So you have to be careful. It's a little bit better now. And when I use it for anything, like, I was talking earlier about using it for tax law, I am checking the citations and actually going to the IRS website to make sure it's real. But you have to be careful with that because it's not always, it's scrubbing the internet, but there's some wild shit on the internet.
It's my favorite part of the internet.
But as AI adapts and we can start using it for more things, my whole thing is, I'm always looking for how do I take that and use that with my business or create a business using that and dude, my wheels are spinning because this AI stuff is.
Well, it's the
crazy.
modern day arms race,
Yeah.
you know, and like we need to figure it out.
I'm always looking, and I've said it on numerous podcasts. I always look at my competition, and I don't necessarily think like. I'm always trying to figure out what are they not doing,
Right.
and how can I position myself to be. We talked about last week with Mr. Biondi, right? Right now, in this day and age, if I wanted to buy a Lincoln Navigator, I could go on Lincoln's website, I could build a Navigator, and then I could say, okay, find me this Navigator, and it's going to tell me all the dealerships within a certain amount of miles that I'm willing to travel that match that build, and then I can start calling those dealerships and figure out who's going to give me the best deal. And if all I'm doing is looking at prices, it's never been better to get deals on vehicles, right? Because I can shop prices from the comfort of my own couch with a laptop or my cell phone. So as a business owner, you don't want to just race to the bottom of the price. So what can I do to offer a better service or a better experience so that I don't have to compete with price? And that's what I've been working on with my business, because I don't, if somebody were to ask me, well, what's your hourly rate? My hourly rate's gone up over the years, right? And it is what it is now. But if you compare me to the accountant down the street strictly on hourly rate, you might be able to save money going to the guy down the street. Doesn't mean he's better. Right. Doesn't mean he's worse. But if you're just comparing price, I don't want to compete on hourly rates. I don't want to find clients that are like, well, if you're $225 an hour, well, the guy down the street's $175. I'm going to have him do it. I don't want to compete like that. I don't want to race to the bottom. I have margins to cover. I've got a building. I've got employees. I invest in technology. I invest in trying to create a better experience for my clients, make things easier on my clients. Shit's expensive, man.
Right. And the one thing we have is we're younger, like in your industry and mine, we're younger across the board.
Right.
So like, I'll say this to people now that I'm like getting in the business, like I've been in the business a long time, but like the down the street price, that's fine. But that guy's got a year left.
Yeah.
Do you think he's investing anything into his business?
No.
Do you think he's changing his filters in his dry cleaning machine? Do you think that he cares about shit?
Right.
He doesn't care. He's a race to the end.
Right. And Mr. Biondi's trying to compete with that instead of racing to the bottom in price. Now he said he's aggressive, and we watch his videos, and he's good with pricing, but he's also creating a better experience where people like dealing with him. They like the service.
Your house.
He brought food. Dude, he brought food to a podcast.
Yeah.
He's trying to create a better customer experience. So you have to compete. You can't just race to the bottom of pricing and try to compete that way, because you're not going to make any money. You're just going to make yourself miserable. You're just buying yourself a job. And that's not what we're in this for. So you have to compete a different way so that you don't have to be the lowest price. 100%. So people are happy to spend a couple more bucks because I like working with them.
Right.
Because they make it easy for me, or I go there, I go buy a car and he gives me a jar of sauce and I feel like family. And if I need something, I call and Lou answers the phone. And if I need something, that's a better experience, so that when that guy leaves, he's not like, well, I paid $1,000 more for my Navigator than I could have paid down the street. I got ripped off. He's saying, I don't care what I paid for that Navigator, because I got treated like family. And if I need something, like there's a problem with my car, I know Lou Biondi's going to answer the phone when I have a problem.
Which, like, not a lot of people get that opportunity to have that treatment. Like, the dealership and the car dealership experience, they don't really know how much money you have, right? Like, so some people can buy a car, and if it breaks down, fuck it, they'll drive their other car, and they're good. But like, you go, and that sometimes that car it's maxed the family out. It's the only car they have. They made that investment to make their lives easier.
Or how about it's a company vehicle and your business goes down because it's down? Right.
Like we talked about it before. You had a client that had a dump truck sitting there for weeks on end. It's like,
that's money, man.
Yeah. So like that, to know that there's people like that, kudos to him for that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, so that's the whole thing. And I'm trying to look at this AI stuff as a way to improve the customer experience, to create a competitive edge, a competitive advantage for my business, because I can almost guarantee you that 95% of accounting firms in Pittsburgh are not doing shit with AI or technology or trying to improve that customer experience.
Yeah.
They're doing the same processes every year. You drop your taxes off, they do them, you pick them up, or they mail them to you. They're not doing anything to try to make it so that you can answer questions on a website using AI, or you can, upload your stuff and do it all electronically. They're not taking that time to try to improve your customer experience. And it's challenging. It's emotional. It's hard because every year, and this year has been even more difficult because going into this year, I changed fucking everything. Like I invested in different software, different processes. I've changed everything here, and it's terrifying because I'm going into tax season.
Yeah, now your Super Bowl's coming up.
Right. And I'm going into tax season, and we're not doing the same process we did last year and every year for the last 16. We're doing an entire new system here. And to a point, these first couple, at this point, I've done, I don't know, a couple dozen returns. These people are kind of guinea pigs because you can't test it in December because I don't have any tax returns to do. Can't test it at the beginning of January because I may have a tax return to do, but I can't file anything. So none of the systems are up and running yet. The only way to test it is to fucking jump in the pool.
Yeah.
To jump in the deep end and be like, hey, we're going to work this out together. Now, most of my clients, I've been doing their stuff for 5, 10, 15 years.
If it's close to accurate.
So I can be like, hey, listen, we got a new software. We're getting new systems. I got to do it this way now. We're going to do this together. So there's a little bit of a learning curve here. We're learning with you, but we're going to be here with you. And all my clients have been like, yeah, this is great. We're doing a lot more electronically. We're getting engagement letters signed electronically. We're getting e-file authorizations signed electronically. Even the clients that are sitting at my desk doing their return, I'm sending them the e-file authorization and they're pulling it up on their phone and they're signing it so that I can then e-file their stuff. Like we're doing everything. We're going through all those motions, but I'm learning because I've not used the software before and I've not done my taxes with this software. So I don't really know when you get that email with this e-file authorization form, what's it asking you? I don't fucking know.
You're like, please internet work today.
Right. And like this e-file authorization form, it works through DocuSign, but it has to confirm your identity. So it's doing that thing where it like pulls some questions that are like out of your credit report kind of thing. Like you bought a car in 2023, is the payment in this range, this range, this range, or this range? And you have to pick one to confirm that you are who you are before you sign this document. So I have clients that are like, it's giving me 4 addresses and asking me which one I've lived at. I've not lived at any of these. Do I pick none of the above? And I'm like, yeah. I guess. So I'm learning with them. So it's challenging. It's terrifying. As a business owner, when you're making these big changes,
you gotta pull the Band-Aid off, man.
You're pulling the Band-Aid off. You're just trying to figure it out, and you're hoping that you can fucking swim when you jump in, dude. And that's where we're at. But that's what I'm constantly doing, and that's what makes
the biggest
my
part of
business
that is like
different than everybody else's.
You need to keep going forward with it, because a lot of business owners will start making changes like that and get pushback from their clientele.
Yeah,
and it's like, look, this is the way we're doing things. And that's a great place to be mentally in business, is like, we're moving forward like this.
Well, part of this change is that we're drastically cutting back on paper copies of returns.
Right.
One thing that we've learned over the last several years is that, and I know this because every September, October, the local tax agencies send out letters when people don't file their local tax returns. And the local tax collector in most of Allegheny County is Keystone Collections Group. So taxpayers get this letter, you didn't file your local taxes from Keystone Collections, and they're like, this collection company's calling me that I haven't filed my taxes. And most of them call me in a panic. And my response is, well, did you open the stuff that I sent you? No. Was there something I needed to do in there? Mm-hmm. You needed to sign and send in your local tax form. Because historically, we did that by paper. The other thing is that I have like multiple file drawers in my office of returns that nobody picked up, that we spent the money to assemble, print them, put them in folders, assemble them all, make them all look nice and presentable and have a product, and they never fucking picked them up.
Right.
So people aren't opening them. They're not picking them up. People aren't using these paper copies. And then on top of that, they're calling me in June, July, August. Hey, I'm trying to get a mortgage. I need a copy of my tax return. Can you send me a PDF?
Guilty.
All the time.
Yeah.
Constantly.
I don't want paper anything.
Multiple times a week. Everybody wants a PDF. So I'm like, well, wait a second. So if I just do PDFs now, I can eliminate the paper. I can eliminate the assembly person.
Right.
I can eliminate the toner, the folders, the postage, all
100%.
this shit. And it also gives the client a PDF that now they already have a PDF, they can send it.
But by law, do you have to provide?
I just have to sign them. I just have to give them a copy. It can be a PDF. So I'm like, listen, we need to try to push more toward paperless.
Right. And you have it in your email forever. So when you're sitting down at the bank and they need a copy of last year's tax returns, you just go back and you search your...
And one step even better is my tax software creates a portal, an online portal for the client. They can log in. Now, this is the first year we've used the software, so it's only 24 will be available.
Right.
But as we continue to use this software, they'll be able to log in and pull 24, 25, 26, all right there.
Right.
Anywhere from their phone, they could pull a PDF of their return. So it's a move in the right direction, both as a business standpoint and a client. But to tell a client, hey, we're not sending you a paper copy this year, that's where I'm getting pushback. It's like, well, I want a paper copy.
Fine, $10.
So we're adopting that. Well, there's an additional charge for a paper copy.
Right.
But then there's also, one of the challenges we have when I very first started this, everybody got the same product. You either dropped off, mailed in, or sat down for an appointment, but everybody got your return got into the pile, you e-filed it, you assembled it, you either picked it up or you mailed it back. Like it was the same shit. Well, now I've got clients that are emailing me stuff. I've got clients that are texting me pictures or W-2s. I got clients that are uploading their stuff directly into the software. I have clients that are setting up appointments, mailing them in, dropping them off. So I have all these different varieties of how I'm getting the product.
You're seeing how everybody was raised.
Exactly. All the different age groups, right?
Yeah.
And now I have different clients that want their product a different way. So I have to develop all these processes, like all these roadmaps. Well, if the client emails their stuff, then it has to do this, and then this. And if they want a paper copy, it has to go this way. And then if it want an electronic, it goes this way. It's like, it's complicated the shit out of tax season. And then I changed everything.
Streamlining it.
Well, I'm trying to. And then I changed everything with this software, so now everything's different. Well, so it's terrifying.
Well, I'm dealing with this now because historic data is what's important in business. Like having your customer data and understanding how they operate as a human.
Yeah.
So I had a guy. He was one of the people that didn't sign up for delivery in the beginning. He calls and he's like, hey, I want to do this delivery thing, but like a week turnaround's kind of like. I need it faster. So I go in and I go back to when he was a customer in the retail sector and I look and it's 6 days, 9 days.
He's not picking it up. Yeah.
On average, he's coming to the dry cleaners once every 15 days. I'm like, we'll be at your house once every 7 days. You'll actually be more organized and have your clothes faster than you did before. But I don't think that people expect that from your accountant. I don't think they expect it from your they sure as fuck don't expect it from your dry cleaner to know that information.
Right.
And it's just about getting over the hump. And that's what I was saying earlier, our generation will accept AI. Our parents' generation, it's going to be voodoo to them.
Right.
But they're the ones that fucked up the economy. They're the ones that fucked up our lives. Yeah. Like we're still paying for their fuck ups.
Yeah, the 37 trillion in debt or whatever it is.
Get to your 65th podcast episode, get on Medicare and leave us the fuck alone so we can keep advancing, Yeah. And I think that the country is...
People have a hard time with change.
Yeah, look, it's
so you have 90%
of the world doesn't want anything to change.
Right. You got to explain the change and have people understand the change. And what, I've had conversations with people in the office as we're going into this first couple of weeks. How do we communicate this with everybody and make sure that everybody's comfortable with these changes? And it's just a matter of, it's just communication.
Yeah. I had a front row seat to all of this. So like in my family's dry cleaners, there was an old manual presses. You have to have like a big pedal, push it down, right? And hold it and then let it go and then push it down. And these girls, like when my parents took over, they got modern presses where you hit the button and it comes down. Oh, there's no way. This is no way. I'm faster with my old school foot stomper. I don't want to hear it, And then after a week of them using the machine, it's like, hey, we're going to bring those foot stompers in. You guys didn't like, they're like, the fuck you will, And like pen and paper was a big thing, like pin the tags. And like the girls were like, not using this, like we want to go back to pen and paper. And then like they got to look for, and it's like, you're not taking this, you have to pry this computer out of here. But like once you get over the hump,
that's exactly
and like that's what you're doing now. And that's what like the world needs to understand, that like AI is a tool and it's just a tool.
Yeah.
It's not an answer to everything.
Right.
But like go ahead and not utilize it. And you'll be left in the fucking dark ages. And you'll be doing 20 tax returns for your compies.
Well,
and you'll be like, why can't I make more money?
Look at e-filing. There's still accountants out there, old school guys, that are doing returns. Dude, I'm telling you, I still have people that are coming that bringing last year's return. It's filled out with a fucking pen.
Yeah, because they had a Coke charge and they're not allowed to fucking e-file.
Or it's filled out and I can tell that the person just filled out the PDF off of the IRS website and then they paper filed the return.
What? I told you years ago, TurboTax had an app. If you were just a regular 9-to-5 worker with a W-2, you could just take a picture of it and it would file it.
Yeah.
And that was 10 years ago.
Yeah. So things have changed so much, but I've got clients that last year, my guy had to paper file it. So it took like 4 months to get my refund. And I'm like, oh, well, I e-file it. Well, what's that going to do? You'll have your refund in like 7 to 10 days.
The thing that I think I'm not a tax preparer and I don't know the IRS very well. I know enough. The problem that you have isn't on your end. You can get there. It's going to be on the other end. Because I know you're my accountant. I get a letter from PA saying I owe him $1,300. I'm like, I'll let it marinate. If I get the second letter, we'll worry then. Because then I get a letter saying, I'm sorry, we've credited you owe us $300. And then I'm like, all right, well, that's the first $300 letter I got. I'm going to let that marinate. And then I get a letter saying I don't owe him anything. And I'm like, I can't imagine how many clients you have that you get a phone call where they're just buzzing with hate, because now they pay $225 to get their taxes done. Now they're getting this letter. Yeah. And it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
so that's the end that needs to get better.
You definitely have a range of clients where I have clients that'll call me like, hey, I got a letter from the IRS. Oh, when did you get it? Like 4 months ago. Okay. Can you send it to me? And then I've got clients that they panic. Now, and then sometimes I think people get frustrated because I don't panic.
Well, you can't.
But I get so many.
Yeah.
That it's like, okay, we'll figure it out. We'll get it. And you know what? Sometimes they're wrong.
The last thing I just said is a true story. Yeah. 3 letters, 3 different amounts, down to 0.
Right.
I'm pretty sure they might owe me money.
Yeah, they probably.
That's the next letter.
That's my favorite. Whenever the IRS is like, hey, you didn't report this.
The state's
owe
worse.
All this money.
PA's the worst.
They're the absolute worst. But you definitely have your range, but the big thing is that educating the client, and because I have such a good relationship with so many of my clients, I'm legit just being like, listen, I have so many clients that call me, they never even open the packet, they never pick up their stuff, so we're going paperless. Right. Because then you have it electronically, you have it anytime you want it, And I'm actually giving them more stuff because I'm actually like their documents, I'm scanning it, I'm sending them that
They're like
electronically.
time-stamped, you know?
Yeah, everything's there. So they can literally log into their portal or log into their email. They have their W-2s. They have their tax return. They have I'm e-filing local tax returns.
I'm thinking
now.
about this now and I'm like, all right, well, how do I like get organized on that end if it's going to come that way? Because like I'm guilty of using like one email for everything. Mm-hmm. Like you could almost go on Gmail right now and create an email address for your tax purposes.
Yeah, I try not to send in emails so much. I try to use the portal because it's more secure. Your email could get hacked. You don't really want that sitting in your email, but so I try to get people to sign up for the portal and use that. But I've even considered just getting branded thumb drives and just giving them thumb drives. Like, here's your shit.
Yeah. 99% of the world doesn't have anything to hide, even if they got hacked.
Yeah.
Like,
well, yeah, but your social security number's on there.
I know, but like we talked about that before. Like, dude, when we were growing up, you didn't give out your social security number. Mm-hmm. No one. I was at Sheetz the other day and they were like, you don't have your driver's license? What's the last 4 of your social? I was like, no. Fucking give me that stuff.
And you just put that on a podcast. That's smart.
Ooh, I'll give you the full thing. Dude,
bleep that out.
Yeah, he'll put my whole social right above my fucking screenshot.
How about I got a scam call yesterday, the day before? Dude, they were aggressive. I got a call from like a miscellaneous number and I ignored it. And then I got a call right away again. And I'm like, that's weird. And then they called a third time. Back to back. So I'm like,
fuck them people, dude.
So I answered it. And it was somebody with a very thick accent telling me that my credit card, somebody applied for a credit card from out of state. And we think it's fraud. And I'm like, oh yeah? Is that right? And they're like, yeah. Can you confirm your name and your social security number? And I'm like, no. I said, and quit fucking calling me.
Like, what did I qualify for?
I said, you're a scammer. Quit fucking calling me. And I hung up. They called back.
I hate them motherfuckers.
Twice. And I'm like, what the fuck? So the second time, I'm like, stop calling me.
I'm still waiting for the county to
show up. They're like, sir, this is important. You're going to get, we have a credit card application in your name. We need your social security number to confirm your identity. I'm like, you're a scammer. Quit calling me. So I hung up. I blocked the number. I got another call from another number. Dude.
Yeah, you were in the system.
And it was like back to back to back. I got like 14 calls from 4 different numbers. Wow. All the same guy harassing me about trying to get my social security number. Dude, it was relentless.
Dude, when I first bought the cleaners, I got a call from Duquesne Light saying they were going to shut my power off because I didn't pay the bill. I call Sarah immediately, freaking out. Like, she's like, no, I paid it. I call the number back. I'm like, this is the check number. Like, we paid it. He was like, we have someone that's coming to shut your power off right now. Dude, I look out my front window. This blue, like, Corsica pulls up. Dude gets out in a vest. I run out there. I'm like, you scam artist motherfucker. I'll fucking, like, give this dude, he was like this older gentleman. Like, I shook him down. Dude, he was sweeping McDonald's parking lot. He wasn't even from Duquesne Light. He was collateral fucking damage in the ruse. You know, and I've had the county call me, you know, and Duquesne Light's a big one. Utilities are a big one.
Utilities are big.
Because especially this time of year, you don't get your power shut off, you know. Yeah. Fuck, but like in businesses, we're targets of them all the time.
Constantly. Oh, we got you approved for that loan you called about.
Yeah.
I didn't call about a loan.
Dude, I pay 5 different utilities.
Yeah.
3 to fucking Duquesne Light and 2 to First National, First Energy Group.
Yeah.
They call me and say you missed your bill. Probably did.
Try doing it when you own a property management company.
Right.
And they call like, yeah, you're behind. What property?
Yeah. That's why AutoPay is like, dude, actually the water authority in Harmer does not do AutoPay. So like, I'm like all confused how to handle this shit. So I'm waiting for a couple months to go by to base out a balance and then I'll do the bank pay, like auto pay through the bank.
Just pay a little extra.
I dropped off a check because I missed one, which is going to happen because I'm used to everything being auto pay.
Yeah.
And I dropped off a check. Dude's like, want a receipt? I'm like, Yeah, send it to me, carrier pigeon. Like, what the fuck? Like, you guys don't do auto pay? Like, come on, man. Get with it. Like,
Get with it, bro.
That's like utility commission should step in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we live in a world where our shit's going to get really automated.
It is. So you got to get ahead of it. You got to figure out how to use it to improve your business. Because
find new excuses.
Because listen, if you're not out there hustling, trying to figure it out, somebody's going to come out and eat your lunch.
Yeah. Yeah. They're out there. Every industry has people out there. They're mimicking an ideal situation.
Yeah.
You know, like there's some companies that have come into like the Facebook realm and advertising for laundry. And all it is like Stacy's mom's picking up your clothes and doing it at her house. And like,
yeah,
that's fine. There's a place for that. But like, I don't think 90% of the people want their shit going back to someone's house.
Mm-mm.
You know, they have their kids shit in their lawn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, what happens if something gets damaged?
But like what we're saying here is like our advice, not that you need to take it or leave it, but like you can't rest on your laurels anymore, dude.
Mm-mm.
You just can't sit back and put it in autopilot.
No, you always have to be growing and developing and trying to improve your business because things are changing at
So
light
fast.
speed right now.
Right.
And if you're not changing and improving your business, you're going to get left behind. We've talked about stuff like adapting. And we talked about episodes ago with a company that was fixing TVs and failed to adapt and realized nobody fixes freaking TVs anymore. And now they're gone. Right. But it's not like that anymore.
It's different.
It's like, it's so different where you could be an accounting firm that does taxes and bookkeeping, but you're going to get left behind if you're not improving your processes and making your customer
like innovation.
Innovation.
Is like where
you have
it's
to
at.
innovate all the time. Well, this has been an interesting episode, bro.
Yeah, man. We've threw the new mayor candidate out for Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Thomas.
I just didn't
for
want to
mayor.
say it. I didn't want to put him on total blast because Thomas is in for running for mayor. We know that.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if Thomas West was all in yet. So we were just dipping his toe in it. Now our producer,
he released it. He announced it.
Good for him, man.
Thomas West is running for mayor against Ed
Good
Gainey,
to see
I
a
guess.
guy bitch about problems
And then put his
ass on the line.
Yep.
You know, and especially a guy in business running for political office because he's going to lose clientele over it.
Yep.
100%.
Yeah. And
So,
employees.
He
maybe.
might gain some.
Yeah, I hope he does, and we'll help him try to do it. I think I like what he has in mind for business and development in the city, and I hope he does well.
Yeah.
So can't wait to have him on to talk about it.
That'll be good. So, and we're ramping into tax season. So
Time and
if this couch looks like it's getting worn out, it's because Jerry's sleeping on it.
yeah, right.
It's coming. The ties are
They'll
coming.
be sleeping over.
Oh, man. Well, all right, fun.
Until next week, I guess.
All right. Well, go get it, boys.
Go get it.
Thank you for listening to Between Two Bridges, a business-to-business podcast. Find and follow us on your preferred podcast streaming platform. Like and subscribe, and leave us a rating and review. You can join us socially on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Yes, we still call it Twitter. You can email the show at info@betweentwobridgespodcast.com. Until next time, make it till you rake it.
These cameras are all running, by the way.